Alright guys, I know there's an American flag in front of me, but it's relevant, so here we go. It's the movie reviewer back here with another movie review. You guys in the comments said you want, I asked you in the comments what you want next time at the John Brown video, and you guys said to do the review of the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So today I brought a special guest to do that one with me. So without further ado, here's Holden Caulfield. Hello, sir.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm okay. So, can you give me a summary of the plot?
Okay, so pretty much, there are these three main characters. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hence why it's called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, but pretty much the entire movie, they're all out for the search of the same treasure, about 300,000 worth of gold. But every time it seems like they get close to finding it, something comes in and inconveniences them. And most of the time it has to do with the Civil War, actually, because it's going on the same time frame. So they're down in Texas. They're going all over the place just trying to find this big old stack of cash. It's actually a pretty good movie. What do you think about it, actually?
You know, I thought it was pretty good. You know, I don't like westerns myself, but it kind of mixed in a western with a war movie, and it was kind of different. But I like it, and the characters were very well developed. So, speaking of character development, how are the main subjects portrayed in this film? Here, how about this? Let's start with the good.
That's an interesting question, because I think even though his name is The Good, I think he definitely is the best out of the three. But that doesn't necessarily make him really a good person. Because there are moments when he's kind of negative towards other people, and he does do bad things himself. You know, like he has a deal with the ugly where he brings him in for like the cash reward, and then he shoots him down, and they basically make off with the reward from the money. And you know, he's kind of like I guess a slimy, greasy character, even for someone who's supposed to be good. He also goes by a nickname Blondie. That's
And
how.
calls him Blondie?
The ugly calls him Blondie.
Yeah. Okay. So, now you said he was good, but he acted bad a lot too. So let's go to the bad. How was he the bad?
Oh, the bad man. He was bad, but the bad was definitely portrayed as like your average movie villain, pretty much. He was definitely greasy. He had the eyes. They call him Snake Eyes. I mean, for a reason. He was
Angel Eyes. They call him Angel Eyes.
Angel Eyes. That's what I meant. But that's definitely a play on the irony, because he was most certainly not an angel. He's supposed to be a good character too, because he was in the Union Army, but he worked at a prison, and he mistreated the prisoners that they had there very badly. Like he'd bring them in and he'd just whoop them, and then he had this little posse, and they totally just abandoned this prison to go look for the money themselves too.
Well, I'd like to say something about that. Like, I agree with you, but I think he joined the Union Army to take advantage of the system, to where it made it easier for him to get the money. And we'll get to the money in a second. Don't worry. We'll get there. But I think he used the Union Army to take advantage and get a way into getting that money. So
Definitely, yeah.
What are some conflicts that the main characters encounter in this movie?
Well, there's a conflict amongst the three of them, and that's definitely shown towards the end, which I'm not going to spoil, but throughout the entire movie, it's basically just a collection of them trying to outwit each other, outplay each other, outsmart each other to see who can get the advantage, who can get to the money first, and really it's just like a very long, complicated game of cat and mouse. And while this is going on, the Civil War actually plays into it too. Because like it seems like every time one of them will get close to it, the Civil War will interfere, because it's like an ever-present thing throughout the movie. It'll interfere, and it'll be like a major setback for them. Like there was this one time where the good and the ugly, they were in a horse carriage, and they were on their way, and they saw a battalion marching, and from a distance they thought that they were Confederates, because they appeared to be gray. But when they got closer, turns out it was just dust covering the blue uniform of the Unions, and that's when they got captured and they got taken to the prison. So Yeah, that's pretty much it for the conflict.
Yeah, I'd also like to say, like, even though they're in a place where the war isn't very present, you can still see a presence in everyday life. And though their everyday life isn't a typical everyday life, you still see the presence of the Civil War in everyday life there. So, is there any symbolism in this movie that you might see?
Oh yeah, towards the end, when they're looking for the large amount of money, the grave that it's buried near is it's buried next to a grave that's marked unknown.
Hey, look, we have a grave marked unknown here too. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but I think that the grave marked unknown is symbolic of how um, a man can give so much up for a cause that he believes in, even if he knows that if he dies, like there's a chance that he won't be remembered. Like that's how strongly they believed in the cause, the North and the South.
So yeah, there's Civil War soldiers that would give up anything without recognition, and many of them did that throughout the Civil War. So it's just kind of symbolic of that. Um, how is the Civil War mostly portrayed in this movie? I guess I kind of touched on it earlier. How I say it's even though they're in a place where the Civil War wasn't prevalent, it wasn't fought very often there. They still saw it in everyday life. You know, it was still there and there. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, it definitely wasn't very political. They didn't really get much into politics about it. They kind of skirted around that. But to me, it seems like it's more portrayed as an inconvenience to the main characters, and at the same time, it's a conflict for them too. But I would like to say, they didn't seem very respectful of the Civil War. They didn't seem very respectful of the people who were in it, because there was this one scene where they were trying to blow up a bridge, but they needed a stretcher. So they're going down, and there's two Union soldiers trying to carry a guy in a stretcher, and they clobber on him. They take the stretcher from him to transport something down. So I think that they didn't really care too much for the Civil War. They only cared for their own personal gain.
All right, and most of this movie is just battlefront Civil War, no politics. Do we ever get a good look at any of the soldiers?
Oh yeah, I think one of the soldiers we definitely get a good look at is the general when they're
He was a captain.
or the captain, my bad, when they're it was the Confederacy and the Union fighting over control of a bridge because the good and the ugly claimed that they were trying to volunteer, and he's like giving them a tour of their defensive lines, and the entire time he's doing this, he's drinking because his viewpoint is whoever is like the most drunk and sends their troops down to their death first is the one who's going to come out as the victor. So like
Yeah, so that captain there is also may have been a metaphor for General Grant in the Civil War, because as we know, General Grant was a drunk himself, and he spent most of the time drunk. So he could be a metaphor for General Grant, or it just could be how the author of this movie, or not author, but the writer of this movie, just portrays Civil War generals as drunks. So, do you have a reason as to why this movie is so popular?
I think that probably I don't want to claim it all to its soundtrack, but it has a really good soundtrack. Like, that one song, everyone knows what I'm talking about.
The old Western song?
Yeah, the old
I know
Western
exactly
song.
what
The soundtrack was definitely what it had going for it. But other than that, I definitely did enjoy it. I don't know, I can't really attribute it to one feature over another. It was just overall a really good movie.
So, what would you say is the overall message of this movie?
I don't want to say it's all about the war, but it does, especially with like the drunken captain. It really like shows how what like a waste of life the war was.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, how the Civil War is present in everyone's life, and even when you're not in the main battlefield, you can still feel the effects of the Civil War. And also the main characters, that people are greedy, and they'll do anything for money. Like, the ugly only kept the good alive to where he could get the money. Otherwise, he would have killed him. He was already in the process of killing him. So it just shows how greedy people can be and how they only care about themselves. And that kind of ties into the Civil War, where the South only wanted what was best for them and not best for everyone, i.e. the slaves. So
Yeah.
that was probably, I saw as the overall message. Well, Thanks for coming on, Holden. Yeah. So, would you say you liked this movie?
Yeah, I'd say I did really enjoy this movie. Probably a solid 8.5 out of 10.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for watching. See you next time.